Hi everyone. I wanted to do my prompt jar picks, my end of year reads. I was going to do a November only one, but I'm just thinking I'm going on a holiday at the end of November, which goes into December. And then usually in December, I'm just kind of reading books I get for Christmas or the Goodreads winners usually. So I think I might do this for November and December. We're already well into November anyway, so I think this will do me the 2 months. I haven't done this in a minute. I've generally been doing some themed TBRs for the last couple of months, but I have a jar full of reading prompts in here. I'm going to pick out about 8, I think. I'll try to find books that are on my TBR that match those prompts, and I'll try to read them at the end of 2024, so November, December. This is exciting because it'll be the books I take with me on my holiday. Also, please forgive me for the lighting. So it's definitely just that time of year where it's starting to get dark really early, so I'm using artificial lighting. I don't like it as much as natural light. I'll have to make do though. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and jump straight into it. I still have overpacked this too much. This pink one, I really want to get this pink one. Let me see if I can show you before I see it. Read a retelling. Oh, so like a retelling of a fairy tale or something like that. Let me just see if I have any of those. I just did like a bookshelf sweep, and I actually have loads of retellings. I didn't quite realize. I have a lot of Shakespeare retellings and I have a lot of Greek mythology retellings. The odd like Disney fairy tale as well. But for Greek mythology, I have The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is so popular, but I've never gotten to it. Retelling of the Iliad. I don't know if this counts, but Percy Jackson. This is a Greek mythology retelling as well, so it features the Greek gods. I have Lore Olympus. I'm on volume 4. This is retelling of Hades and Persephone, another Greek mythology retelling. I have The Lives of Puppets by T.J. Clunes. This is a Pinocchio retelling. And then I have a good few Shakespearean ones. I've got these Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is Romeo and Juliet. Same with One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. This is also Romeo and Juliet. I had this on my Vamplon TBR, but I didn't get to it. And then I have All's Well by Mona Awad. I don't know, is it necessarily a retelling, but it features All's Well That Ends Well and Macbeth, which again is Shakespeare. And then I also have Never by Jessa Hastings. It's a Peter Pan retelling, but the author wants you to read the original Peter Pan story and view this as a bit of a sequel. The idea is that the Peter Pan in the story is very much not the Peter Pan you see in the Disney film, so I think she wanted you to get to know him better because he's a bit of a crappy character apparently. I've heard mixed things about this. Yeah, I've got all these retellings to choose from, so I'll definitely pick one of these. So I think I'm gonna go for These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I think I'm gonna go for this one because it's probably the oldest one that's here on my TBR. I think some people love this book and some people don't, but as I said, this is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet. It's set in 1920s Shanghai. And I think it focuses a little bit more on the rivalry between the two families and the crimes over the romance, I think. So I'd love to see if I like this or not. But yeah, I've definitely had this the longest out of all of these. Okay, I'll pick my second one. Why did I close the lid? I always like to go for ones down the bottom for some reason. Okay, this big yellow one. Oh, this is a sentence. Oh, fun. Read an anticipated new release. Okay, cool. I have a couple of those. Okay, I have a pile here compiled. So I've got House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J Maas. I actually read the first 2 books in this series last Christmas, so I think it would be nice to read this Christmas time again, I think. But yeah, this came out January of this year. Just haven't gotten to it yet. I have Intermezzo, the new Sally Rooney, which came out in September, I think. Still haven't gotten to it yet, but can't wait to. I've got The Night We Lost Him by Laura Davis, her new thriller. I think it came out August, September. I've had this for ages and I still haven't read it. The Fury by Alex Michaelides. I think this came out in last January, February time, I think. I've got Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. So this is sports romance that came out in spring, I think. I have Evocation, which is the new S.T. Gibson. I have I Hope This Finds You Well. This is by Natalie Sue. I've got Death at Morning House, which is the new Maureen Johnson. I think this came out August time roughly. And then I have the new ML Rio, which is Graveyard Shift. Didn't realize it was so small when it came at the post. But I think I'll pick between these books. I also forgot about A Temptation of Magic. I think this only came out in the last month. I actually think I'll go for A Temptation of Magic. So this is by Megan Scott. I think this would be nice for the winter time. I think this is a dark academia book, but it's also a fantasy book too. So I think the main character is Nicole, and she's actually an Imperial, which is like a magical creature, and she can shapeshift basically. And then there's an organization in this world called the Wake, and they govern the magical creatures. But Nicole actually believes her mother was killed by the wake, and her mother hid the way to take down the wake in a piece of art that Nicole now has to hunt down. I think there's a romance in this as well, and it's the start of a series, so it just sounds cozy. I don't know why I associate with winter time, so I think this would be a nice one. So yeah, I'll go for this. Okay, we'll pick prompt number 3. I've only picked 2 prompts, and if you guys could see the mess of books that's already just around me, my TBR cart is already quite disheveled. But I've got this one, so this is it here. A male author. That's such a strange prompt. I don't remember writing that. I actually don't think I have a lot of male authors. I definitely have Brandon Sanderson. Most books are by women, I believe, in my collection. Brandon Sanderson is a man. Alex Garland. Stephen King. Jason, can't remember his second name. There's a couple. I'll try and pick them out. Okay, I don't actually have too many male authors. I have Brandon Sanderson, I have some Stephen King, I've got TJ Klune, I've got Rick Riordan, but I think I'll go for Brandon Sanderson's Dress of the Emerald Sea. I picked this up while I was on holiday and over the summer, and it just sounds really nice. It's apparently a book that Brandon Sanderson didn't want to release, actually. I think he wrote it specifically for his wife, but I think word got out and I think people just really wanted him to release it, so he did. This is about Tress. She lives on an island and she has this really nice simple life, and she has this hobby of collecting cups. Basically, when sailors come into the island, she gets a new cup. Her friend Charlie goes on a voyage, I think, to find a wife. I think something happens to him and then she tries to stow away on a ship to try and save him, I think. Apparently, a drop of this ocean's water can cause death. I don't know how that happens. I've heard very, very, very good things about this book, and it's very fairy tale-esque. So again, I think it'd be nice for kind of around Christmas time. So yeah, we'll go for Brandon Sanderson. I've never read from him before. I know this isn't his typical type of book, but I wouldn't mind giving his writing style a go anyway. So I'll go for prompt number 4. This huge pink one. Okay. This is, oh, that's a full ass sentence. Okay. A book with more than 500 pages. That's okay. I don't mind that. I actually like a long book, so I might actually just look at my Goodreads and see what longer books I have. Okay, I didn't realize I didn't have that many that weren't in the middle of a series. So I do have House of Flame and Shadow, of course. As I mentioned before, I think this is 830 pages. Definitely a contender. I do have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This is roughly 520. I have this manga called Orange, and according to Goodreads, this is over 500 pages. I well believe it. It doesn't have page numbers on it, so I can't confirm. Since Goodreads says it, I'll go by that. I actually also have The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I think this is 640-ish pages, so I think I'll pick between these 4. So I think I will go for The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I actually don't know much about this. I just know that there's war happening. I think the main character goes to this war academy. Apparently it's really surprising that, I think it's Rin is the main character, that she got into this really elite military school. So I think a lot of this book is her time in the military school. I think there's rumors that another war is going to start. Rin, I think, has this really intense teacher, and I think she finds out she has this power. I think this is set in a fantasy version of China. I really liked Babel by R.F. Kuang, so I think I'll like this one as well. Okay, so I'm going to go for prompt number 5. My light is well and truly gone now. Okay, one fell out. I'll go for that one. So this little blue one. So this one is a cozy read. Cozy is hard to define. There's like cozy fantasy. I would find romances are cozy. Middle grades are definitely cozy. So I've got a good couple that I can pick from. So I might go for To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. So this is about Laura Jean. She writes these letters to all these boys she's loved in the past. She thinks it's fine because they'll never actually see them, but I think accidentally they are sent out to them, and I think she has to like deal with the repercussions of that. This is a trilogy, and I think there's a Netflix movie trilogy as well, but it sounds really cozy and kind of like fun too, so I think I would like to maybe break up all this fantasy with a bit of a romance book. Okay, I'm gonna go for prompt number 6. I'll go for this big long yellow one. Loads of them wanted to come out there. So this is a debut novel. Okay, cool. Okay, so I have a couple because I know they're a Goodreads category for the Goodreads winners every year. I definitely have more than this, but this is like the pile I'll choose from. So I've got Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. This was the debut winner for 2 years ago. I Have Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. I think this was the 2020 one. I've got The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armaz. And then we have Wayward as well. So this is by Amelia Hart. So these were the last 4 years winners. I'll go with one of these. So I think I'll go for It's Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid, just because it's the oldest one in this pile. This is about a woman called Amira. She's a woman of colour and she babysits this child who's white, and she actually gets approached in a supermarket and is accused of kidnapping, and her employer tries to set things right. So I think it's like a young adult novel discussing about race and privilege, but I also heard it's very entertaining as well, so I think this would be a nice little quick one to read. So hello, it is actually the next day. I actually had to pause filming quite abruptly yesterday. So if the angle or lighting is slightly different, I do apologise. But yeah, I do have 2 more prompts to go. So I'll pick out prompt number 7 now. Let me see. This big yellow one. So this is a big long sentence as well. A book with a cover that you love. Okay, this is making me realise I don't have a lot of covers I like love. There's obviously loads that I like, but nothing crazy. I do quite like the cover of Never. I just love the crescent moon with the stars. I think that is quite nice. I love these. Are these Mina Lima? I love these Mina Lima editions. So I have Alice in Wonderland. I do really like the blue tones in After the Races by Elsie Silver. I think my favourite cover is Magnolia Parks, actually. I think I just love the pink and red. I really like the fashion. Like, I love the Vans. I love her dress and shoes. I think this book cover has always kind of like caught my eye, and you can already tell like what type of book it is from the cover. So I think I'll go for Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. So this is about a really dysfunctional relationship, I think. It's supposed to be very Gossip Girl-esque, I think very Chuck and Blair-esque, I think. So not necessarily a romance book, but more like a socialite drama story. And it's set in England, and I think you have Magnolia herself, and then you have BJ, and I think he breaks her heart over and over again. So I think they try to date other people to make each other jealous. It's very dysfunctional. So yeah, Gossip Girl set in the UK basically. I do really love this cover, so I think I'll go with this one. So I'm going to go for prompt number 8, the last one, for this skinny green one. This is a rom-com. I have a few of those. Okay, I have a good few contenders for this one. I've got my 2 Litjoy Crate books from this year. So I've got Fangirl Down, and I have I Hope This Finds You Well. This is a sports romance. I think this is an office romance. I have XOXO by Axio. I think this is more of a YA romance, but I'm assuming it'll fall into the rom-com category. But I think it's about a girl who falls in love with this K-pop idol, but she doesn't realize he's a K-pop idol. I think he keeps his identity hidden from her. I have 2 Emily Henrys as well. I've got Happy Place, and I do have Book Lovers as well. I have 2 Ali Hazelwood, so I have Check and Mate, and I have The Love Hypothesis. I have This Time It's Real by Anne Liang. Apparently this is like a fake dating. I think it's a young adult romance as well. I don't know if this counts as a rom-com, if small-time romances count as rom-coms, but I think if they were made into movies you would see them as rom-coms, so I think I'm going to account this. So this is Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. I think this is the first in the Gold Rush Ranch series, and I think this takes place before the Chestnut Spring series, and then I have the Spanish Love Deception as well. So I will pick one between these. So I think out of these I might actually go for Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Very good rom-com author. I did read You and Me on Vacation, or People We Meet on Vacation. I did read Funny Story recently, and it's made me want to read her backlist a little bit more, so I wouldn't mind getting to Book Lovers. So I think this is about Nora and Charlie, and Nora is a literary agent and Charlie is an editor. They're like work enemies. I think they like different genres, but books are their lives basically. Nora's sister like forces her to go on a vacation because she really needs one, so she ends up going to the small town and Charlie ends up being there. They must just run into each other. I think this would be a good rom-com pick. I think Emily Henry does rom-com very well, so yeah, happy to give this a go. So yeah, this is my stack for the end of the year. I'm really excited about all of these. I'm just excited that I'll be taking these on my holiday and potentially reading them through Christmas as well. So I'll just go through them again very quickly. So I got These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This was for the retelling prompt, so Romeo and Juliet retelling. I think this was for the new release prompt, so The Temptation of Magic, so A Dark Academia. Really looking forward to getting to this one. I have Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson, and that was for male author. I have The Poppy War by R.F. Kwong. So this was for a book that's over 500 pages. Will take me a while. I might read this on the plane. I have To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han, and this is for a cozy book. I have Such a Fun Age by Kaylee Reid. So this is for a debut novel. I have Magnolia Parks by Jessie Hastings for a cover that I really love. And then I have Book Lovers by Emily Henry for rom-com. Very happy with that. I've got a good mix here of like fantasy here and then romance contemporaries. So there's a good mix of stuff that I can definitely mood read from. But yeah, I love the TBR jar process though. It's such a fun way to pick out your TBR. I'm definitely planning on vlogging for December. I always do Vlogmas or Bookmas, so I probably will read a couple of these during Christmas, and if not in a vlog, I'll definitely update in a reading wrap up and I'll share my thoughts on what I thought of them. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, I do anything book related on this channel, so TBR jars like this one, reading vlogs, reading wrap ups, reading challenges, all that stuff. I'll leave these books I mentioned in the description and any of my socials. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.